Hi, I'm Heidi.
I'm George.
And welcome to Philippine Antics, Expat Help. And we're here to discuss the downfall of expats and what causes them to go running to their embassy or issues, and how come a big percentage of expats end up going home. Stay tuned. Hi, we're going to discuss today, there are three parts that we want to discuss of downfalls of expats. So I'm going to let George take this away in regards to the first one that we feel is important, and that is relations are the first downfall to expats.
Okay guys, now here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with falling in love, and there's nothing wrong with LDRs or long distance relationships, as everybody says. Okay. Now the question is, you have to pick the right person. First off, again, don't trust anybody online. You can be catfish. Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. And quite honestly, you can literally, not necessarily Filipinos, this happens all over the world. Somebody would fall in love with this girl, and they would meet up at the airport of whatever country, pick a country, and then let's say Singapore, right? And an American would fly over to Singapore, meet this woman. She does not exist. She won't even say she's not going to show up, or he's not going to show up, and then you're stuck. So bottom line, don't believe everything you see online unless it's live video. It has to be live video, not some pre-recorded video.
That they have to meet. You guys don't have to go into the Philippines. Currently, the country is closed down, and we feel it's going to be closed down for a little bit longer. I would recommend, as others have done, you meet up in Thailand, Mexico, another country, before you guys get married online. We keep hearing of friends that are getting married online, and they've never even met the girl. Like literally, they're getting married online, and they've never even met the girl.
Right. And remember the bureaucracy we were talking about the last video? Your online marriage, depending on who you're in front of you, standing at the gate between you and towards entry to the Philippines, may deny your online marriage.
There have been denials. A lot of people are saying that yes, they've let them come over, and that's even hard saying because they just started doing it. But we keep hearing from the barangays, and depending on your area, depending on who's at the airport, what airport in the Philippines, they could deny your paperwork strictly for that. If it's not a legit, notarized, certified certificate of marriage, then you can forget applying. But some people, yes, have gotten in. But I recommend highly that you guys meet these people in another country and get to know them for a long time.
Right. That's one of your red flags. If you're video chatting them and then it disconnects, that's a red flag. Or they say, oh, my camera doesn't work. Also, another red flag would be, don't trust anybody who asks for money.
It's a lot of them. And if you are married to her and you feel you need to support her, that's okay. Try to pay her bills direct. Remember, American and European money goes a long way. So like 5,000 pesos a month or 100 US dollars is a lot of money over here. So don't go sending a bunch of money to her. And really, a good woman will never ask for a dime. The ones that are asking for money are probably getting money from 5 or 6 people, especially if you meet them on dating sites. We know people personally that are on these dating sites just to catfish people, just to get money, just like the Typhoon Odette. These people are setting up all kinds of accounts, YouTube pages, Facebook pages, and they're trying to scam money off of people. They really are, so you just can't trust anybody.
Right. They may have kids that she doesn't tell you, and a husband.
And a husband. Oh my God. The husbands will allow their wives to actually carry this on and collect money. There have been people that have arrived here based on other visas, such as retiree visas, such as when they were allowing regular people to come in, regular tourists, and they'll get here, and she's actually married. So this guy has sold everything, or woman. It's rare. Most of the time you're going to find it is male expats coming over here for women or retirees, or they have a job and they've been invited to come over through their company. But it's happened a lot of times where they have been married. And so, which will bring us around to, we'll close this one out by saying property. Come over on an SRV retiree visa if you can. That's over 50. Check into it. Email us. We can give you some information on it. But The retiree visa would be the best one to come over. If you're over 50, it does require a large deposit with the government, but it does allow you to purchase a condo. Own your own property. Do not come over here and do what you see a lot of YouTubers doing in a big dream and building your own house, because she or he can actually take the property and the family, and then you're actually stuck too. We know a lot of people about that. Next thing you know, you're boo-hooing to your personal embassy. So you can own a condo, foreigners can. It's better to come over on your own visa. Even if you're married, come over on your own visa, because last but least, she can have you kicked out of the country. So if you're over here and she gets mad or he gets mad at you, honestly, George does not have to continue to give me letters to actually stay here in the country. So every year you renew your permanent residency, and then you do it every few years, or you apply for citizenship. It requires a letter from your spouse. So they just deny the letter, and then they deport you, and they will find you. If you get caught for not doing your immigration correctly, they will hold you in detention like they would in the U.S.
Yeah, you don't want to be in detention here, trust me.
You do not want to be held in the Manila Detention Center for Immigration. The Bureau of Immigration, you would rather go, if anything happens, always go to your embassy. And if you're that close to being deported, or they're talking about locking you up, throwing the key away, I would go sit at the door of your embassy and not move. That's for sure. I'd be all over that before I go to immigration. And if you've gotten that far, then that means you have a lot of problems and you really need help. They should be able to help you. United States, UK, Australia, any of these countries, any country, you should be able to go to your embassy and get help. So, which brings us around to the second downfall of expats.
Finances.
Take it away, George.
Now, always make a plan. Okay, I've heard this so many times. I went to the Philippines with $500. Okay, yes, that probably would have worked a while back.
About 10 years ago, you could show up with $500 and start a life. Yeah, and that's if you're 20 years old with no medical problems.
Right,
That
if
is
you're young, and also if you're seasoned already, or you're a hustler and stuff like that. But even now, nowadays, things are different. First off, you have to think of, before you even get to the country, make a plan. Again, we're in these times where we have to get tested all the time. You probably have to set aside testing for at least, just to be on the safe side,
2025?
yeah, 2 extra testing costs. I mean, because...
Which is about 10,000 pesos
Extra.
or 200 US. So, sorry that if you don't bring this kind of money, you're going to be in trouble. So what it is currently you can't travel into any city right now without a vaccination, which a lot of people don't want to get. A lot of foreigners are what they call it, anti-vax.
Right.
So without a test or the vaccine, and both, you can no longer fly within the Philippines, and you can no longer cross any borders. We cannot even go into Angelescity here from Dow without testing, and it's $100 to $200 each test. So the problem with the finances is I do not recommend anybody coming in here unless they have brought substantial savings. I don't care what age you are. If you're coming here to visit, bring $500, and I wouldn't even recommend that, but come with money if you're just coming in to visit. If you guys are coming here to permanently live, you're not thinking about everything. These houses that you rent are usually bare bone. Go into an Airbnb if you want, but the next thing you know, that we hear from other expats, they've spent all their money on women, booze, gambling, and there's plenty of gambling, whether they're cockfights or whether they're gambling pits or gambling casinos. They lose all their money and then they're out. So you have to come in with a substantial amount of money. You have no way to finance everything like couches, furniture, stuff for your house. So you need money, and you definitely do.
Right. And still on the finances again, you need at least 2, in addition to the testing you're going to go through, and in addition to the quarantine, you need to have at least a backup of 2 extra testings and 2 weeks more of quarantine, only simply because there is a chance that you technically may contract it, literally at the airport. So, and then you're going to be forced to stay for 2 more weeks, and you require 2 more testing. So that's the bare minimum at least you have to add on to your expenses going into the country.
And then you have to set up your housing. That's what I was starting to say. You know, you need to buy your refrigerator. You need to buy a gas stove in case the electricity goes out. You need to buy an actual stove. You need to buy furniture. Most of them are not. That's why I mentioned the Airbnb. Do not count on this Airbnb. A lot of them are full, and a lot of them aren't even what they're supposed to be online. Wrong, false photos. Oh my God.
In most Airbnbs, you have to pay for your electricity.
Check it, because ours, we ended up having to pay our electricity and it wasn't cheap for the 2 weeks. So make sure you check out that it's even real. I would go with a person that is a super host, because we found there was 1 or 2 listings that were repeated 3 and 4 times on other people's posts, so they
And
weren't
the
even
pictures
real.
are from California.
Yes, so you're gonna get them from the wrong places. They're not even the right photos. Most of them won't even show you the outside. But you need finances. Make sure you have, we're on to the next one. Make sure that you have a monthly income. Do not come over here thinking you're gonna start a sorry store, that you're going to start a bar, you're gonna start a restaurant. Good luck on that. There are a lot of restaurants in Angel City run by a bunch of expats, and right now they're struggling majorly. And you're not gonna get somebody that's gonna come into a restaurant and pay $3 for a piece of pie, or, you know, nobody's gonna pay when they're making $5 US a day as a Filipino. They're not gonna pay $3 for pie. They're making $10. They make 500 pesos tops. So, and you're not gonna get a job here. You're not gonna get an online job. You're not going to get, some people, if you get an invitation, then you can get a job. So you have to have a monthly income.
Well, you can't get a job legally.
Correct. I don't know what you think you're going to actually
And
do.
even if you did get one on the side, you're not gonna make money at all.
We checked into it. George is legally allowed to work, and right now for an online customer service rep, you'd be lucky to make, what did we figure that was? $8 a day or something US. Yeah, that's a no for 10 hours a day. So you're not going to make the money that you think. The cost of the bills, electricity, and all that versus the wages, 500 pesos a day or 10 US dollars is the average wage here. The average, they call it GDP, is less than 9,000 US dollars. So a family of 4 have been known to live on 9,000. So they're saying that's average, kind of like the US, it's 30. Who actually sometimes even makes 30,000 in the
Correct.
US, so
Right.
9,000.
Yeah, our
That's
fast food guy works all night and he makes what? 10 bucks.
Not even that. I think he said he made $8 to $10 for a 10, 12-hour day. So check out that video.
And odds are you have to be fluent in Filipino.
Correct. So you're not going to get a job. You got to have your own finances. Don't think that you're going to bring $100,000 and that 100,000 US is going to be enough, because next thing you know, these guys are laid out in a bar. A lot of them come here, and that's the next topic that we're going to discuss, is drinking. They get drinking, and the alcohol is the one thing that is cheap here. And then they get into fights, they get arrested, they're at the embassy. They drink. A lot of them, we have known some, they drink themselves to death here. So they literally just keep drinking, and they hang out in bars.
Well, and let's say you are a moderate drinker, but when you drink, most people tend to be more friendly. And that's where you have to watch out too. When you're drinking out in public, you tend to be a target to people who are basically target expats.
Yes, and that would be like that no matter what country, where you're from, who you're from. It would happen in the U.S. and Miami. Same thing. You're on a cruise ship and you're drinking. There could be bad people on that cruise ship. We had to be careful in Mexico. So it doesn't matter where you're at, but you become a target. And then a lot of them get into fights. You will get arrested. They'll be watching. I mean, the police have no problem watching, so you don't want to be caught up in the drinking situation.
Right.
So so a lot of them make the mistake and they drink their money away and impressing the family. You go and you get here and you want to impress her, so you take her to all the American restaurants and you do all the Western stuff, and you spend 60 bucks to get in here, and you pay everybody's bar tab, and they try to be the big man on campus. They have no monthly income. Next thing you know, they're at $0, and then other issues happen. So they try to buy, if you start paying her money every month, she's giving her family money. So it's expected when you arrive that you start giving her family money.
But it also, same way that a good Filipino or Filipino won't ask you for money.
Her family
A good
neither.
family, same thing. A good family will not ask you for money.
They're usually working, and Filipinos do work hard. The females work hard just as hard as the males. So if she's a hardworking Filipina, she will never ask you money, never a dime. So if she is asking for money or you feel obligated, then there's a problem. And so,
I mean, they've existed and lived before you even existed.
correct. So helping her now is not going to make the difference. She should be making it, or him, on his own. So which brings us around to, let's see what we have on here next. Of course, not bringing the money, you have to bring money. We can't even give you a digit, but can you live on $1,000 or less each month if you have that monthly income? Check out, we're gonna do a video on that later. Can you? Stay tuned for that video. So it is possible, and we'll be able to go through that. And then we're gonna do a video also on our monthly bills. But the next thing and final is don't come here with no monthly income, as we had already discussed.
Yeah, don't.
Just don't.
Just don't.
So we're gonna move on to our next one, which is the third downfall, pitfall that will make you run to the embassy and get a plane ticket right away. And to us, it is the number one and major issue of expats and foreigners that come here. And it's like I've been dreaming about this video for a long time, and that is medical. Go ahead, George, take it away.
Well, first off, guys, most North American or European countries have good health care. Philippines, what health care?
Right. If something happens, yeah, what health care? They have PhilHealth, it doesn't pay. If you have European or American insurance and you think you bought an actual policy before you come here, most of them we've heard on the expat forums, we heard from personal people, they don't pay. They won't pay the bills once you leave overseas and they come here. So many complaints, and if they do, you're still left holding 30%, and usually you got to pay up front. And yes, medical is cheaper here. Don't get me wrong, you can go in for a $20 visit. You can get like blood pressure medicine, could be like 8-9 tablets for 50 cents. Don't get us wrong, but they also have the brand names that will cost you $2-3 US a pill, and they do sell them by the pill. If you need pain medicine, you're gonna have to go to a pain specialist. You end up in the emergency room, it could be as much as $10,000 US, and you have to pay or you cannot leave. Before they will treat you, they pull you aside like a number, and they make you fill out papers, and they want a payment before they even take care of it. This is not the United States where they're gonna just take in an ambulance and save your life right away. No, payment or I hate to say it, I don't even wanna say it, payment or die.
Yeah. For example, right now, if you got contaminated by that everybody's afraid of, and you go into the hospital, the average hospital bill is literally 1.5 to 3 million pesos.
That's a lot, and it's money you just don't have. So we keep hearing the downfalls are relationships, finances, medical. Boom, 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 and some of the expats have all three, and they end up at the embassy with no plane ticket, begging for a plane ticket home. And it's the saddest thing. It's happened to our friends over and over again. It's happened to expats that are online. There's expat forums. There are people complaining about other people trying to help. We have a lot of homeless here, a lot of American homeless. We have a lot of people homeless. Nothing different than the United States.
Right. So, just to recap, okay, women.
Not trying to be a Debbie Downer.
Right. As far as relationships, women or men, just make sure you're with the right one. This is the part where I'd hate to say this. Don't go with your heart, go with your brain on relationships as far as an LDR relationship with a Filipino or Filipino. Okay. Finances, be smart. Okay. Don't throw it away unless you, well, even if you know, the point is you have to have a renewable source of income. Okay. Medical. Maintenance is cheap, but repair, you have to have a backup, like say an emergency plane ticket to go back, emergency plans.
Good, I'm glad you said that. Minimally, make sure that you put 5,000 US away, such as me and George have, to actually pay for something such as a medical plane ticket to get yourself home, because right now that is our backup plan. We have insurance in the US. We are pending an insurance policy here, but sometimes it takes forever, and that is something you must have as a plane ticket home in case you have to have major heart surgery. We know somebody now that is in a situation where their local hospital has never even performed certain heart surgeries.
Correct.
So we have specialists here, but you got to go to a major city. So it may take a bus, train, and long distance, or flying, which is now prohibited without testing. So, you know, it's kind of like live in medical and scoot at your own risk. Scoot, scoot, scoot.
Right. Again, infrastructure and everything. It's great living in the province, but when it comes to real emergency, their hospital there are the equivalent of clinics. Yeah. The real hospitals are in Manila.
Right. So they're just going to bandage you up long enough to get you there, and then you could show up in Manila and the same thing. They can't help you at all.
And then you still have to get tested. You still have to pay for the testing to get in.
Right. And you got to pay, and you may not even be able to get across the border just to get into Manila to do that. And you can't just scream, okay, well, take me to my embassy situation.
If you're still alive.
If you're still alive. And this has happened. People have passed away actually trying to get to hospital. So we're not trying to scare you. This is a beautiful country. We love the country, but we want you to be aware of what's actually possible. We're not going to sugarcoat it. We've been keeping it real, as I say, since 1980. But
and we are in special times right now too.
we are in very special time. It's normal for all the above. It's been going on forever since the beginning of time, since the 50s, and people come here. They come here with not enough money. A lot of these beautiful islands, Thailand, Japan, and the Philippines, all of Asia or other European countries, they show up with no money and they think that there's some like magical fix or something, but these are things that absolutely are the downfall of expats.
Yeah. Gone are the days of the hitchhiker that just goes on and
like a backpacking hitchhiker.
Correct.
I'd say probably 5 years ago you could have come over here with $1,000 and just went around, checked out all the beautiful islands, which are so beautiful. This is a beautiful place. There are a lot of things to do. But as I was telling George, once we hit the islands and the resorts and we've done everything, then you are left with real life, living here every day among the Filipinos, the greatest people on earth. And you're there with everyday life, medical, finances, and relationships, and all of these can take you down.
right.
Yep.
So thank you for joining us, guys. I hope we've been very informative. And if you guys have any suggestions, just comment below. Let us know what you want to hear, what you want to know.
At philippineantics@gmail.com. Be sure to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to give us a thumbs down. Be sure to subscribe. Thank you to all of our new subscribers. And check out our Facebook. Check out our Instagram. We have TikTok. We do everything, guys. But we have a Facebook forum that is an expat for females right now. So just look up, it's Fexpats, F-E-X, and I'll throw it up here, Fexpats, female, and that is Expats in the Philippines. So check out this channel too. And be sure to hit the bell so you can get notified. So we thank you. Be sure to keep your heads up and your hearts open, and we will see you soon in the Philippines. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, my butt's hurting again.